In this video, we're going to discuss what I wish I knew before teaching in the inner city. I have made this video so that you can get away from ineffective teaching practices that lead you towards burnout and then move you towards effective teaching practices that allow you to be a teacher in the inner city for a long time, making a huge difference in people's lives. With all that said, let's dive in. I wish I knew that my students' lives and stories are going to be painful to hear. I heard countless stories of my students being abused, raped, kicked out of their house, and left to be homeless without their parents. Interestingly, a large part of these stories and their pain intersected with my own upbringing, and it caused a lot of internal turmoil, which might happen to you as well. And if I could tell myself one thing, it would be, it's okay for this to be hard. The next thing I wish I knew is that after enough time and listening, I will experience my students' trauma and I will need to process that. After hearing a lot about other people's trauma over and over again, your own brain will internalize it as your own. Psychologists call this secondary trauma, and this is where you start to get burnt out, which leads me to my next thing. I wish I knew that I need to build a robust system of rest, decompression, and self-care. Listen, in order to prevent burnout and just general fatigue, you need to have great systems and structures and rhythms in your life to rejuvenate your energy, process the pain you're hearing, and also connect with your purpose outside of your work. In my first few years of teaching, I really felt like I was going to save all of my students and make a huge difference in the world. And all I had to do was keep working harder and keep listening and keep going forward. But you as a teacher are not a superhero. You are a limited human being who needs good sleep, good nutrition and hydration, exercise, connecting with others, resting and relaxing. I encourage you to take care of yourself before your body forces you to take care of yourself. The next thing I wish I knew as a teacher in the inner city is that being clear, firm, and consistent is being kind to my students. I remember my first day in the classroom was on a Monday, and there was this student who was extremely tall and a bully in our school. And he came to me and literally grabbed the pencil out of my hand and said, "This is my pencil." In that moment, I was extremely distraught, confused, and frustrated. As I pull back to think about that, he was trying to establish his dominance over me and over the classroom. I learned really quickly that I needed to set clear expectations. So with that student, it was a simple, do not grab my pencil out of my hands. Secondly, I needed to do it in a firm way. And I remember saying something like, that behavior is unacceptable. And the third thing was being consistent. That is, not letting any kind of behavior that is disrespectful or breaks classroom norms be let go. I had to be consistent not only with that student, but with every student regularly. Learning these three factors of clarity, firmness, and consistency ultimately helped me create a culture of trust and respect within my classroom that allowed my students to thrive. The last thing I wish I knew is that lowering expectations for my students and classroom never results in good things. You are not doing your students any favors when you lower the standards for them because of their background. By all means, keep the standards and help scaffold their growth so they have an equitable chance of meeting those standards. Believe in them. Do not let them settle for anything less than they are capable of. When you keep the bar high, your students will rise to those expectations as you provide them the right support. The aim of this video was to give you the things I wish I learned before teaching in the inner city, so that you can be an effective teacher in the inner city, helping many students and unlocking their potential in such a way that does not burn yourself out and you're able to do it for a long time. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What do you wish you knew before starting to teach in the inner city? See you guys on the next one.